Welcome to Drunk with Facts.
What was that?
I don't know. Sounded good. That was my announcer voice.
Okay.
Welcome to Drunk with... Drunk with Facts. That's nice, right? At the end of it.
Sounds almost like an obscene phone call.
Right. Like mom's
right. Like mom's
voicemail.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. We should play that for everybody. Well, welcome for joining us. I'm trying to pull us up on Rumble. Dad, how was your day?
My day was wonderful.
Wow, that was almost believable.
Don't believe it. It sucked. We've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning with the dog.
With the dog.
Yeah. You had to take him in. He had an ear infection.
Because he's crazy.
Yep. Well, that too, but he had an ear infection. But he's on medicine now, and hopefully he'll be all right.
For the voices in his head?
That's never going to go away. No.
They don't have medication strong enough for that?
No. Nothing for that.
Well, there's that.
Exactly.
Christine, 46 more days. Not that you have a countdown going or anything.
She can't wait.
It's going to be 100 million degrees here.
Yeah, well,
she's going to die.
She'll handle it. She'll be fine. She's from the city where it's cold all the time.
I know.
Winter, and it's hot in the summer.
It's not hot. No, she's out in the mountains though.
Oh.
So she's not that. But she'll be fine. She won't die.
She'll be fine.
She might sunburn.
Well, you have to make sure she don't stand out there all day.
I can't control her. She's a grown woman.
Well, we'll see.
Exactly. So before we get too far into it, we would like to thank our sponsors, Project Y, men's health care, face care, all needs care products. Coming soon. And I know I keep saying this like with hopes that it is actually coming soon because that's what we're being told. So I'm not lying to you on purpose.
I think it's 2 weeks, they said.
I'm not even putting a date on that.
They said
have heard
2 weeks.
It's coming.
Yeah.
So you will know when we know. And the Ycast, every other Wednesday, they will be coming up this coming Wednesday. Follow them. They talk about all sorts of good stuff from men's health care to mental health to urologists to GI doctors. All topics are on the table pretty much.
Yep, it is.
So,
a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
A lot of informative stuff.
Like don't eat butter every day, Dad.
No, don't believe that one. You heard what he said about eggs yesterday, that they're not bad for you.
Eggs aren't bad for you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So maybe butter's not bad for you.
That's true.
I don't know. I'm a good example of.
Although look at your skin, it's glowing and
it's glowing buttery.
It is glowing buttery like a butter toast.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to say what my arteries look like, but that's
butter toast. That is a whole nother.
That's another story.
Yep. Okay. Are you ready?
What are we doing?
We are going to pull these lovely little out of this hat.
Lovely little what?
Lovely little
subjects.
Notes, subjects. I don't even know what's in here. Could be subjects, could be questions.
And we didn't get a chance to look at them.
No, you're not supposed to look at them.
I may sound stupid then when I answer them.
That's the point. We're supposed to sound stupid. Okay.
That's fair enough.
You want to pick one? You want me to pick one?
I'll pick it. Well, you have to read it because I don't have my glasses.
Here we go.
Here we go. Does it say who it's from?
No, I wish it did. Oh, that's good for next time.
Yeah, you need to.
We need a note on initials of who came up with the question.
Right.
Okay. Ooh.
Oh boy. This is
only because I'm trying to think of mine and I don't know what it would be.
At least give me a shot.
Who do you think was the best president to ever take office and why?
Wow. That's a good question.
That is a good question. Ever? Best president? It says best president. Doesn't say future, past, not future, But past or recent or
it said of all times. Didn't it say that?
No, it just says, who do you think was the best president to ever take office?
Yeah, well,
and why?
Well, that includes everybody up till now. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a good question. I mean, anybody that cares about this country, and I hope I don't get any.
I don't know. You go old school Democrat, and it wasn't bad.
I'm just saying, you're tempted to want to say Donald Trump,
of course,
but we gotta exclude that because he hasn't finished his presidency.
Yeah, but he had the first one.
Yeah, but he's still a president now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so let's take him off the table because we both know that he's.
And
great.
we also both know that we favor him a little bit.
So we'll take him off the table. And you're going to look at it totally different than I am.
Oh, yeah, because I go back.
You know more about it than I do. Well, I just barely started paying attention.
Yeah, it's really a tough one because there's some really good ones and there's some really bad ones. So,
and then you have the greats.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you're looking for when you say great. I mean,
we'll talk about some greats. So Abraham Lincoln, of course.
George Washington.
Amazing. George Washington, of course, amazing.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Of course.
Franklin Roosevelt, if you like Democrats.
Yeah. Well, either way, they did good things while they were there.
Some good, some bad, yeah.
And what outweighs it? I mean, there's bad in all of them, but was that bad destructive damage, or was that just, oh shit, it happened?
Well, I mean, in some cases like Thomas Jefferson, he's a remarkable man because of what he did with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and Declaration of Independence. He had other people helping him, John Adams,
but still,
but
there was a lot that had to happen.
A lot had to happen, but he also was a slave owner. So that.
But again, that's the time.
I know that. That's what I'm saying.
You can't be mad because you were a slave owner when everybody else is doing it.
No,
just like you can't be mad when you had hookers when everybody else had hookers.
Right, I'm just saying that. You have to weigh that all out.
Exactly.
The good and the bad. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
So, I mean.
So I
go ahead.
I get that. Like is it bad? Not really. Is it bad now? We look back. Yes, of course. But everybody else is doing it too.
Sure.
He wasn't,
So, I mean, you got to take that all into consideration. I mean, Ronald Reagan was I thought he was good. John F. Kennedy, he had his faults. But he was a great
overall
speaker,
good.
Great speaker too, great orator. And I'm going to kill you when I say this. Obama's a great orator too.
Oh, amazing!
But that's where it ends.
But he did see. But this is the thing. So not saying that he's the best president by any means, but from what I saw, because again I was younger, I wasn't super paying attention. All I heard was good stuff. And again, that's what the Democrats are playing on that now. That's all I heard. Yeah. You heard him speak speeches. He spoke amazing. Oh, he could stand in front of a crowd and.
Yeah, I think him and Ronald Reagan were two of the best.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Another one that you could just, whether you believed with him or not, even still, hate Obama to my core. Still is a great speaker.
He is a good speaker.
So
like you got to balance all that out, but. If I'm looking at every president for what I think they meant to this country as a leader, I have to go to George Washington and Abraham Lincoln because they had so much impact on the country. Of course, George Washington being obviously our first president, he was the leader of our Continental Army before. Yeah. He was a great military strategist.
Yeah.
He did it all and
especially for his time.
Yeah, and he kind of was the whole heart of the nation at the time, and everybody followed him. So he's kind of high up there, and Lincoln is right there with him because of what he did during a 4-year, the most difficult 5 years of any president, I think, Civil War, when Americans were fighting against Americans, and it was a bloody war, and he was trying to do the right thing. He had a lot of opposition,
trying to keep everything together,
right? Trying to keep everything together, right? And he had his opinions of slavery, believe it or not, but he knew he needed to do the right thing. That's why he wrote the Emancipation Proclamation and got it passed in Congress. Surprisingly, a lot of Democrats voted against it, but he got it passed anyway because some of them did.
Because you had the ones that,
some of them did vote with the Republicans. So, I mean, if I was going to choose between those two myself, I would lean a little bit. It's a tough one for me because I admire both of them so much. I would lean a little bit towards Lincoln.
Yeah.
But very little.
But again, Washington was starting it all.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
He's the father of our country.
You didn't have, Lincoln was at least, there was stuff rolling and happening, and he was able to do stuff.
Right.
Washington started it.
Right.
Like he was making this up as he went along.
Like I said, he was the father.
He did amazing.
But he had a lot of help. He had
100%.
Jefferson, John Adams, Madison.
He needed that team.
Yeah, Samuel Adams. He had a lot of people.
Needed that team.
Yeah, so.
Absolutely.
So what's your answer?
Again, I know the stories. I agree with both of yours. Absolutely amazing. Again, Obama was a great speaker. Don't agree with anything he did, but I didn't know that until later.
Right.
So during that time, yes, I thought everything was great, totally good. But again, he stands up in front of you and
makes you believe
you're mesmerized and you have no idea why.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing speaker. Reagan's great too.
He was.
So
he reached out to people in a different way.
He was very real.
Mm-hmm. Very real. Yeah.
Is the best way to explain it.
Yeah.
He wasn't like, you look at Trump, you look at Biden, they're this whole nother level. Yeah. No, he was real. And that's why I like Vance. Mm-hmm. Vance is a real person.
Oh yeah.
He came from the shit of nothing, like all the rest of us. He had to work every day. He had to whatever. That is what he grew up with. And I think Reagan was very similar to that. Yeah. He was the working class. He wasn't anything special. He wasn't anything above anybody else. And that's kind of that's what I'd lean for.
Towards
Reagan.
I kind of thought you said it. I saw your impression of the movie after we watched it, because you didn't know that much about him before the movie.
Mm-mm.
I mean, you knew about him, but you didn't know. I
didn't know.
And you were impressed with what you saw. And I tell you, I know a little bit more about Reagan. And it was pretty spot on, that movie. I mean, there was a little bit of Hollywood. You were
even impressed because
I mean, there was a little Hollywood in the movie, of course, but it always is. But it was kind of spot on with him.
That's awesome.
I was impressed with him as a president. I was.
Yeah. Again, I don't know what happened every day. But overall.
So we're saying Lincoln and Reagan are our two top choices.
I would say that, yeah.
With Washington hanging in there a little.
Washington's going to be first, second, third.
Right.
First, second, third. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to put them all three at top.
Yeah.
Because again, Washington didn't have, Reagan and Lincoln had something that was already started.
Yeah.
Washington
had to work off of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Washington had to start it.
Yeah.
So yes, amazing. Would I have loved for him to come back? You know what I mean? For a second term or third term? Yeah. Absolutely. Because then you already had a process. Yeah. He would have done amazing things.
Yeah.
But he had to start it. Somebody had to start it.
Yeah.
So, okay.
What did you get anybody saying anything? Their preferences?
Christine said Reagan.
All right, Christine.
And then he was a very good president, in my opinion. I'm assuming that's towards Reagan, but I don't know. That could have been towards our other ones. Here we go. Oh, man. Why you got to do this to me, Keith? I know this is from you. Because me and him do not agree, Dad, on the best music.
Oh, I'm so shocked. Yeah.
Shock face. Okay. What decade do you think had the best music?
Well, that wouldn't be fair because I go way back before all you guys.
But still, I listened to music that was way before my time.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're talking about with music, because there's so many different concepts.
What you're using it for. So what is your best dance music? When you and Mom used to go dancing, what was your best, like, well, I mean, that made you want to move, that made you feel?
Of course, I'm going to say the 50s, because that's where we grew up as teenagers in the 50s. So that's my go-to music.
Dance music.
Even to this day.
Okay.
I'd rather listen to doo-wop than anything.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, I love the 1940s and the band music.
Oh, yeah. The big band stuff.
It was great.
Oh, my gosh.
And the groups that sang, the whole thing was just great. And I kind of feel like, I always talk about reincarnation. Yeah. I feel like I was reincarnated from the late 30s to the early 40s because I
don't think that's enough time, Dad.
Whatever. I feel like I knew that. I knew that.
Unless you were very young when you didn't make it.
Well, at 3 years old, I used to learn things. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying. I feel like
no, that was, just
there
your
back
time.
then.
Yeah,
and but I would have to say overall the 50s.
50s. Okay. Now, what about your what music did you play for the kids in the house? Do you know what music Mom had going? Was it that same?
That's a good question. Wow.
Everybody knows you have cleaning music. That's different than what
that's not
normal music you listen to.
I would say they heard the 50s and 60s a lot.
Yeah.
I know Keith did. I know Keith was into the Everly Brothers.
Yeah.
And so was Rob. So I think they all, and Dan too, I think they listened to a lot of 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but I don't know about, you're talking about Dan and Rob would have been the late 80s, I guess, music. What Mom
says the 50s and the 40s.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So they would have listened to the 80s.
Oh, this was from Christine. Oh, where'd it go? The question was from Christine. I figured it'd be from Keith because me and him fight about it.
What did she say?
She loved listening to Les Brown and Satchmo.
Louis Armstrong. That's Satchmo. You know Louis Armstrong. He sang "What a Wonderful World."
That's Satchmo.
That's Louis Armstrong. Yeah. Satchmo.
Why does he go by Satchmo?
That was his
alter ego.
I don't know what it was. Stage name, I guess. I don't know. That's what they all called him, Satchmo.
Why is it when I think Satchmo, I think like Bigfoot?
I don't know. That's the catch horse or something. Satch horse or something. I can't pronounce that.
Sasquatch.
Thank you.
Oh, could be. That's maybe why I think about it.
So what about you?
Me. So it depends on what we're doing. Cleaning music. You have the Supremes and all that kind of.
What the hell is cleaning music?
The music that makes you want to clean.
There's no music out there that makes me want to clean.
Why? We know that, Dad. Clearly.
I can tell you that right now.
There's cleaning music.
Okay.
Girls, is there not cleaning music? So, 50s, kind of Supremes-ish, all that is kind of what I grew up with too.
Okay, it's 50s and 60s.
Yeah, 50s, 60s. That's kind of what I grew up with. Mom always listened to it. We always kind of had it on in the house. For me, dancing music, 90s all day long. I know everybody hates it.
What's the 90s? I don't know what kind of music.
Music you would never listen to.
But give me an example though.
Baby's Got Back.
Baby's Got Back.
Baby's got back and I cannot lie. You motherfuckers can't deny.
Sorry, I asked.
But a girl walk in with the itty bitty waist
right.
and a round thing in your face, you get sprung.
I got it.
There's that.
Thank you.
So that's my kind of dance music.
So you like the 90s?
I like the 90s.
Well, that's because you grew up in the 90s.
Exactly.
It
that
makes
was
sense.
My teenage
That's why
years.
I like the 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
So
whoever you're comfortable with, but I still think for partner dancing, I still think the 40s and 50s.
Oh,
are the
absolutely.
Best.
Absolutely.
Everything
if you're doing anything like that.
Every decade after that, the dancing seemed to separate more.
Oh, it did. It absolutely did. It was less talent together and more whatever you could do on your own.
Right,
yeah, it definitely wasn't ever.
The only exception to that maybe was the disco music, because that brought people together.
I don't know if that was really a team thing.
Oh, sure.
Was it?
Sure it was. Absolutely.
I don't know. Disco music I always saw was individual. I never saw it really together.
Well, I mean, they separate and dance still, but they do a lot together. They twirls around.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So best music ever, we'll go 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we
right?
both, I don't know. Ask the audience.
What do you guys think? See.
Well, what happened?
Make music you listen to that makes cleaning easier. Yeah. I dance and clean to the 60s, 70s, 80s. Yeah, 80s were kind of lost in the 80s. But yeah, I'm with you on that.
I'm going to get a real good one this time. That's hot. Burn that
Ooh, it's hot.
Burn that finger.
So, what the fuck? I have no idea. So, Dad, this is all you.
Don't bet on that.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go with it. Was the Cold War,
Yeah.
okay, won with diplomacy, dollars, or Rocky Balboa?
Rocky Balboa.
The Rocky movies.
Actually, well, what Cold War are we talking about? Are we talking about the Cold War was the Korean War originally? Then it became the.
So you're asking me a lot more than I know. The question says it was the Cold War.
I don't know what Cold War they're talking about, because the original Cold War was the Korean War, and then they called Vietnam the Cold War. Then they called the Middle East wars the Cold Wars. So which one are they talking about? I don't know. The Cold War to me is the 50s with the nuclear threats.
Okay, I'm going to go with that one.
Korea and all that stuff.
Let's go with that one.
Okay, so what do you want?
Because I didn't think that they really calling when we were over there in Afghanistan the Cold War?
Yeah, some journalists called it a Cold War. Yeah. I don't say
that's not the Cold War.
I don't say they were correct, but that's what they called it. But most people would think it Cold War, the Korean War.
Yeah. Okay.
And I do know a lot about that. So what's the question?
Just a little bit. Was the Cold War won with diplomacy, dollars, or Rocky Balboa?
Well, Rocky Balboa has nothing to do with it.
Well,
unfortunately, if we're talking about the Korean War.
Okay.
I don't think
he had to do with any of the wars.
Stallone was a little at the time.
He was tiny, yeah.
Dollars or diplomacy? Well, diplomacy came in because they eventually had an armistice up on the 38 parallel between the North Koreans and the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
They signed an armistice. They never ended the war. They just signed an armistice, and it was like a peace agreement that they wouldn't come over the 38 parallel and we wouldn't go over the 30. That was the crossing point for the North and South Korea. So I would say diplomacy kind of fell into it, but I also think politics played into it too. A lot of politics, just like the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War, I don't want to go off track here, but
you're fine.
The Vietnam War was lost because of politics.
Aren't they all lost and started because of politics?
They've always started, yes. But some of them aren't lost to it. Sometimes we wake up and we had no choice, like the Second World War. Yeah. We had to do what we had to do.
Yes, to win. No, absolutely.
But the Korean War, we play games with. And the Vietnam War, we really play games with, and we lost a lot of good people because of it.
Well, the Vietnam War was all of, I'm going to say, politics in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, what happened was
we were literally feeding and showing only what they wanted us to.
Right. Well, and they were feeding us a lot, but it wasn't telling us a lot.
True.
And it wasn't true. But John F. Kennedy, before he was assassinated, wasn't going to get us into that war.
Okay.
He didn't want us in that war. And when he passed away.
So who was it originally with?
Lyndon Johnson.
Well, no, I mean, who was the war originally with if we weren't in it?
Well, we were. No, I'm saying JFK didn't. Well, the French were in the war against the communists.
Okay. So they were, and then we jumped in.
And the French got beat. North Vietnamese beat them with the help of China. So when we decided to go into it, or when we saw that we might have to be forced into it, JFK wanted no part of it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of theories that think that's why he was assassinated, but I don't want to get into that.
We don't know anything about that.
There's so many theories about that. I don't know. But when Lyndon B. Johnson became president, he became aggressively involved with promoting, I guess promoting would be the word, our involvement into the Vietnam War. And when we went in with him in 1965, when we first sent the advisors in, it got heavier and heavier. We kept sending more people and more people till we couldn't get out of it anymore. And until Nixon got in, it was a mess. And then Nixon wanted no part of it. So he tried to get out.
He started pulling people back.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would say that to answer, getting back to the original,
or dollars.
I would say some diplomacy and a lot of politics. And of course, dollars always fall into it, but I don't think in this case it had anything to do with it.
Yeah. It wasn't one or but yeah.
No, I mean the dollars were the cost of the war.
Yeah.
Which hurt China, hurt North Korea, and it
Yeah.
hurt us too. Because South Korea couldn't help us. They were small.
They were tiny.
Country.
Yeah, they didn't have any.
They had nothing, so it cost us all the money. So I mean, maybe dollars did play into it a little bit when I think of it.
Yeah, I mean, again, you don't have that spew, and we didn't have the abundance of money we give now that is invisible and means nothing.
Right. So I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah. No, it's very, and again, I don't know much about it, so I'll go Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, well, you could.
That's why the extent of my answer.
That's why I asked if they were talking about the Korean War, because Rocky Balboa would have had nothing to do with that.
Well, he had nothing to do with any of them.
Well, but I mean, the name, the character didn't come in until 1970.
Well, I have no idea.
78, 76, something like that. I don't know.
No clue. No idea. Okay. This one isn't as hot.
Oh, okay.
No.
It could be cool though.
Ooh. Ooh. You actually brought this up earlier.
I did?
Yep. Do you believe in reincarnation?
Wow.
And do you think someone can live multiple lives on Earth?
Is that Christine?
I don't know. I wish I knew who asked the questions. We're going to tell Keith.
I have a feeling that might have been Christine, or maybe Joey. Maybe Joey. Yeah. Could be.
Could be a Joey question. That feels like a Joey question.
You take it first.
No. So it's Christine says, yep.
Oh, okay.
That was a Christine question. I don't know. And it's hard because there's so many different beliefs that believe that you continue to come back until you figure out whatever you're supposed to figure out.
Right.
How do you know when you figured out what you're supposed to figure out? Like,
I guess
is there a peace? Is there an ease?
I guess it's the power to be makes that decision. They call you up and that's it.
I don't know. Like that's what's weird to me. Do I definitely feel like I've done things before or met people before or had a connection with somebody that you shouldn't have that deep of a connection with?
You're talking about a deja vu? That type of
deja vu all day long. I'll have memories and dreams as clear as can be of places I've never been, places that I don't know that exist. So I don't know.
You don't disbelieve it. You just
I don't disbelieve it. I don't know if I fully believe it either. Like I'm really on the fence about it. Mm-hmm. With being Christian, I've never heard of anything with reincarnation with that. So for me, when you go, you go.
Right.
But I can't say that you do for sure. Mm-hmm. So again, I've had too many things that are odd.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Not explainable.
Not explainable at all.
Right.
There's no reason why I should know that. There's no reason why I should see that. There's no reason why.
Right. Well, I mean, again, there's no definitive answer to that. I mean, everybody that knows me knows that I've done some research on reincarnation. And when I first started doing it, I felt I was just simply writing a book about fiction until I researched and
really
started writing cases after case. And I started to believe that these people believed it. No doubt about that. They believed it. Yeah. So I didn't dismiss it anymore. I thought it to be a possibility.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I always go back to, I just mentioned before jokingly, I always felt like the 30s and the 40s was my decade.
Yeah.
I don't know how old I was or anything like that, but I'm very familiar with the late 30s to the mid 40s.
Yeah.
Right. Like the middle of probably like 46, 47, right after the end of the war and stuff. I feel like that's the area I knew best.
Yeah.
And to this day, when I see certain things about big bands and certain celebrations and certain historical events,
it's just so familiar.
It just feels very familiar to me, but it could all be imagination too, because
and memories.
I'm a big history buff.
Yeah.
So I can't really honestly say, but if you would ask me, can I totally denounce it? I can't.
No.
I think it's possible. I think some people truly believe it. There's billions
but
of people
again, if you've had that experience and you've had that enlightenment. Absolutely. It's just like people with aliens and stuff. Oh, I've seen this. I'm not going to say you haven't.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say I don't know.
You didn't see it.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't say definitively. Right. I can't say, you read all the books about people going to heaven and what they've seen. And I've talked with patients who have gone and come back.
They believe it.
Because they know what they've seen. I don't know what you've seen.
But was it a dream or was it really what they saw?
I can't confirm, but I've had patients who have never been connected say the same things.
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely.
So it's definitely connected. Right. So again, is that all what happened? Is that just what you see when you pass? I don't know. And
is that a trip that you take after you pass on a normal basis?
Yeah.
The type of trip you take, but does that eliminate the possibility of reincarnation? Not really.
I don't know. No, that doesn't say either way.
It just says you leave it
one
place.
That just says that you're going, and even
where you go from there, you don't know. Right?
Even honestly, with reincarnation, do we know how long in between is?
No. That's
like, do you die and 4 minutes later you're being birthed into somebody else?
Depends on who you read, because
I don't know.
The so-called experts, some of them say that you immediately go back into another soul. Your soul goes into another
immediately.
Body, I should say.
So what are you just out in the sky flying around and you're like, this one
so.
like a light opens and you jump in? I don't.
And other people say, no, you can lay around wherever they
and
call
decide,
it until you're called.
Oh, okay.
Until you're called. And
now that I kind of believe more.
Yeah.
Just for the pure fact. Again, welcome to my brain and the madness that goes on in here. So if I die immediately, I'm sucked into another soul. Okay, well, when does that baby become a soul? Is that baby a soul when it's made? Or is that baby a soul when it's birthed? I
don't think anybody can answer
how
that.
is reincarnation going into that? So are you just instantly thrown to somebody else? And then on that same factor, when do new souls get made? Because if we're all just being rotated through and it's one big washing machine,
right?
When do new ones come into factor?
Well,
like if you figured out your goal and I haven't, when you die, where's the new soul that you were supposed to go into? Like, how are they?
Well, their theory is that there are more people that die than are alive.
Yes, but if you so if me and you both die,
right?
Okay. I haven't figured out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. So I don't get to go. I have to be reincarnated. You figured out whatever you were supposed to figure out. So you don't get reincarnated.
Yeah,
so you're done.
Go to heaven.
But if you have a vessel that needs to get filled, like if they both have somebody who's knocked up that we need to go to, but you figured it out, who gets your spot?
Whoever's next in line, I guess. I don't know.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying.
It's
like, so who gets, do they get remade? Like, does somebody new get made?
See, to me, your soul your spirit is a soul.
Yes.
Or your soul is a spirit, whichever way you want to look about it. So that spirit.
If you're not getting, but this is my thing is, if you have two cups that are supposed to be filled.
Right.
You figure your world out. So this cup isn't getting filled. I'm going here.
Right.
Who fills this cup?
The next person who passes away.
But how long is that? If it's supposed to be instant, like
sure.
When does a lady just not have the baby? Does she not?
Not sure.
Does she not get knocked up because there isn't a soul that's supposed to be coming? You know what I mean? Like that's where my whole thing gets into, where it's instantly.
I don't think
it's more.
I don't think it's instantly.
It's more like, oh, you got to hang around until Bob's born. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, I think
that makes more sense to me.
I think you're talking
because you get like
soul.
A cooling off period. You get to try to think about whatever you're supposed to think about.
You're getting really deep here.
I know. I mean, like it could be faster or slower depending on how life happens.
I think every time, if you believe in reincarnation,
yes.
my theory is every time you reincarnate, you assign to a soul.
Yes. And it's not that instant.
Right.
Yeah. I think you definitely have to like.
That's what I think. But
yeah.
Again, what do I know?
Oh.
It's very. I did a lot of research on this, and there's a lot of people.
Christine says she thinks our souls will have the choice to be reincarnated and win. Okay.
That's possible.
I could go with that. Like if you want to try to go for it again.
I guess. I mean, especially, yeah. I mean, I can see that being possible.
I really want to do the past life regression. So Christine, I'm going to look and see if I can find somebody for when you're here. Cause I want to do it.
There's some negative things to that too.
I'm sure there could be, but I would love to.
You have to be careful how far back you go because, you could wet yourself.
I'll wear a diaper. It'll be fine.
You have to watch that stuff.
I'll do it on a pad.
They have said that some people go all the way back and it's like, it's incredible.
Well, and that's why, like, I really want to talk with somebody before and get to know them before anybody does anything. Because I am not for, like, being hallucinated and clucking like a fucking chicken when the doorbell rings. So we're not doing that.
They don't do that. No, the ones that you're
I know.
about.
I'm going to find a good one. I don't need that to sneeze or cough when.
They're going to give you a warning, too.
I'm sure.
All the possible negative effects.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
but I would like to, I really want to look into it. So
maybe if you believe in that regression of life, is it possible you could regress to a past life beyond this life?
I mean,
like in other words,
you
go
could
all the way back to being born. They say you could go all the way back to being born.
I remember things already from when I was super little.
Could you go back further than that?
Potentially, that's kind of the point.
That's the question.
Is to go back to everything that your soul remembers.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know.
You could go back to the 20s. I'll let you know.
Let me know how you make out. Here we go. Oh, this is a good one because it's shaky.
You feel it? Whoa. Yeah. Can you read it?
No, I can't read it.
No, you can't read it. Okay. Oh, God, no. Huh. Could you make it through basic training in the 60s?
Could I make it? Sure. No problem.
At my peak energy? Yes, maybe.
I could tell you.
Hell no.
I could tell you back when you were younger, you would have made it.
I probably would have been in trouble.
I mean, I did it in the 60s, so I know I could make it.
Yeah.
I did.
I would have definitely been in trouble a lot.
I did it in 1960, so I know. But today's basic training, unless you go into...
You could make it through today's basic training,
unless you go into advanced training, where you become a SEAL or a Green Beret or something like that. That's not easy. But the first 8 to 12 weeks,
Army and
it's a piece of cake.
It's not even work anymore.
Except for the Marines. The Marines probably still a little rougher. But the Army, the Air Force, the Navy.
They're cheesy right now. Nobody even makes anybody do anything anymore.
Well, it's changing under the new regime, thank God.
They can piss and moan and, it's hard.
Yeah, well,
I'm a girl.
They're not going to do well now. I can tell you that. Well,
you've seen the ones that are like 800 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I want you saving my country. I mean, granted, there is always somebody who needs to hide behind somebody. So, I mean, that's good. You can make a wall, but
that's true.
You can be sacrificed. I only have to run faster than you.
But knowing your personality and knowing you the way you are now, I think you definitely would have made it back in the 60s.
Oh, I'd have been bad. I probably would have been a lifer.
You would have been a great drill instructor. Like after you got
I would have been. That's what I'm saying. I'd have been a lifer.
Oh, yeah. You would have.
I'd have been like, why are you crying? What do you want something to cry about?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So you would have been on report. No, don't tell report. Whatever. That was a good question, though.
Yep. I definitely would have not been. No. Nope. I almost went into the military.
Did you? Oh, I think you told me that. You told me that, yeah.
Yep, passed the test, did everything, was ready to go into Air Force to be a mechanic. Then they came back to me and said, by the way, you're going to go to where it snows. And I was like, nope, bye. Yeah.
I still can't think of where they want to send you.
I have no idea where they told me.
Probably up in Maine somewhere or something like that.
Don't know. But I asked, does it snow there? Because I was very concerned with that.
Could have been Montana or
Being
Wyoming.
an Arizona girl, I said, does it snow there? And they said, of course. And I was like, have a great day. And they were like, what? Your scores are amazing. You need... No,
I'm done.
I don't do snow. Luke is right there. I'll go there. Okay. Was the twist the greatest dance craze ever? greatest is hard.
That's a hard one because
to
decade
describe.
to decade, it's different. You know, I mean, if you go back to the
Was it insane? Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
people were crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they did crazy. But if you go back to the 20s, the Charleston,
Yeah.
those people were nuts.
Yes.
They went crazy on the floor.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. There's so many different dances.
Greatest dance craze ever.
That's a tough one. I don't know.
I'm going to say it's definitely spanned over the most generations. Like, could I Charleston? No idea. But could you twist? Absolutely.
Yeah, but you also could do the Lindy or the hop, whatever they call it at the time.
I don't know. I haven't heard of those. But like for my generation, like everybody knew what the twist was.
Yeah.
So spanned over the most.
Yeah, I would think the twist is the most
absolutely
common recognized one.
Yes, that spanned over the test of time.
Yeah, I would say.
I'll go with you on that.
Yeah.
But the greatest, I don't know. The Charleston was good.
Charleston was good.
What was in the 70s?
The disco.
Oh, disco. Yeah. Okay.
That wasn't easy to do.
No.
And the 60s and 50s was the same type of dancing.
Yeah.
Mostly like the stroll.
Mm-hmm. The what?
The stroll.
I don't know what that is.
I know you don't. But the stroll, the Lindy or the hop, whatever you want to call it. That's when the guy and the girl dance together and he spun her around and stuff.
I heard of the hop.
Yeah. What else? The cha-cha.
Oh yeah.
That was a popular one.
We've changed the cha-cha over the years as well.
Yeah, but I think they still do a cha-cha.
It's pretty
right?
close. You still do a cha-cha in it, but they've added some extra
Yeah, I'm
kicks
sure
to
they
it.
did. I'm sure they did. Yeah.
So
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, that was very good.
I would say that probably the most recognizable one of them all would be the twist.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, the Charleston was
It was crazy.
It was a crazy
It
dance.
was crazy. What was it? The A Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
When they Charleston in there?
Yeah,
man, they get nuts.
Yeah.
And then the gym opens, but they get crazy. Like it's a good dance.
And that was interesting because that was done in 1944, 45,
Yeah.
that movie. And that's when it was supposed to take place.
Yeah.
So the Charleston expanded from the 20s all the way through the 40s. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Wow. Okay.
No, interesting. So I don't know. I don't know if that answers anybody's question, but probably not. But
was the twist the greatest dance ever? Again, it depends on what you're looking for. Most spanned, yes.
And most recognizable.
Yes, most recognizable. Like if you did the twist now, people would know what you're doing. If you did the Charleston, they wouldn't really know.
They think you were nuts. Yeah.
So I'll go with you on that.
I get a special one out there now.
Get a special one. Get a good one.
All right. Wait a minute.
Ooh, it's fat. Ooh, I can feel it.
Fat.
Does it feel hot?
I just want to see if I can read it. I think I can read this.
Okay, read it.
Philadelphia experiment. Is it possible that the USS Eldridge became invisible and experienced time travel in 1943? Do you know about this?
Nope. Okay.
You're sticking
Give me
with
history.
this?
Yep.
Wow, that's a tough one to answer. Did
Philadelphia experiment.
What they're asking is, did it really happen? And
what's you answer? I'm going to look it up. I don't know anything about
it. Well, it was a Navy ship that was on special assignment, and supposedly they had some way of making the ship invisible, what they would call stealth today, where the enemy couldn't see him or anything.
In 1943?
Yeah, according to scientists, and one scientist who did claim in the 1970s, I think, he was on that ship, and it disappeared.
So here we go. So the USS Eldridge was a cannon-class destroyer,
right,
escort of the United States Navy,
right,
commissioned in 1943.
Right.
Primarily known for its alleged involvement in the Philadelphia experience,
True.
a controversial claim about a secret U.S. Navy experience during World War II.
Right.
Okay. So the Philadelphia experience, this alleged experiment, was often associated with the USS Eldridge. Claims that the ship was fitted with experimental technology to render it invisible to radar.
correct,
and that it was either teleported or time traveled during the tests. Okay. Alleged effects. The ship became invisible, possibly teleported to Norfolk, Virginia, and then back to Philadelphia, with some crew members experiencing severe and gruesome effects, including being fused to the ship's walls or disappearing completely. What in the hell?
And two of the people on that ship never came back.
But ships have thousands of people.
Well, yeah.
Was this one not as equipped because that's what they were doing?
It had a large crew. It had a large crew. I don't know the number.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but they had a large crew. But again, it's all rumor and
we weren't there. We don't know.
Yeah, and speculation. But the two people that disappeared showed up later and claimed they were from that ship.
They showed up later, like
1970s, I think, or the 60s.
Oh, okay. So like later.
Yeah.
Okay,
and they were still the same age they were back in 1943. Now, I don't know their names, and I don't know the whole story, but I do remember that part. They were interviewed by the military.
Of course.
They were put on the armed guard. They went to,
okay, so
I think Congress even interviewed
them. 1940s. Okay.
1943, right.
Was when it was commissioned. It doesn't really say what their timeline was that they were experimenting.
Right.
So when did we find Roswell? That was the 50s, right?
Oh yeah, the Roswell, yeah.
So that was after, because I was thinking maybe we could have used that technology.
No, it was way after that. But these two people were very convincing, but they suddenly just disappeared.
Go figure.
Yeah. So I don't know.
My shocked face.
Again, I don't know the whole story, and I wish I could remember. I read about those two people.
I'm sure we could look it up.
I just don't remember their names or anything, but I know that there were two people that claimed to be from that ship, and they showed up in the 70s, and they still look like they were, let's say, 20 at the time in 43, and they were still 20. And I don't know, like I say, I don't know the whole story, but I do remember the rumors about the Philadelphia experiment. Did it happen? I don't know. Could have.
I mean,
if we could invent an atom bomb, I guess we can invent other things back then. I don't know.
So they're saying that the ship reappeared in Philadelphia Naval Yard in 1985 after it disappeared in 1945. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into this.
Yep. I do know there were two people, like I said, that I think it was in the 70s. I don't know. You have to do research on that.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Check into it.
I never knew anything about it.
They even had a movie about it with Kirk Douglas, I think.
What?
Yeah, they had a movie about it. It's called The Philadelphia Experiment.
Huh.
Yeah.
No, didn't know.
Everybody should watch that. It's an interesting movie. I believe Kirk Douglas was the star of that movie.
Okay.
I think Martin Sheen's in it too.
Undeniable information. Christine says she knows a lot about it. She's done research on it. Good, Christine. You can tell me about it. They had undeniable information about the Eldridge that no one would have known unless they were on the Eldridge.
Right. Okay. So I was right about that.
That's interesting. Yeah. Because if you weren't on the ship, you're not going to know. Like you could tell me stuff about being in there. I would have no clue.
Exactly.
I wouldn't. Yeah. Interesting. All righty then. All right.
I thought you said these were easy questions.
I never said they were easy.
Oh, okay.
I said Keith and Joey and Christine made them up.
So they can't.
This is a tiny one.
Tiny ones. This must be for me. It's a small mind.
What is your comfort food?
What is my comfort food?
Yes.
Wow.
Meat.
You go first.
Butter.
You go first.
Potatoes. For what though? Like, I don't really have a comfort food. Tacos. I take it back. It's tacos.
Tacos would be yours.
Tacos make me happy. Yeah, no, it's tacos.
Mine would be steak.
Now that I think about it, it's tacos.
Yeah, I knew it would be tacos.
Tacos make me happy. They just make me happy.
I sure it does.
No.
I like steak and a baked potato. I'm happy with that.
That's your happy?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
That's good. Could you eat it every day?
I don't know about every day, but I could enjoy it several times a week.
I could eat tacos. Well, there's 7 days in a week, so that's every day.
I said several.
Several is 7. Several.
No, several could be 3.
That's 3.
No, several.
That's 7.
A couple is 2. Several is more than 2.
A couple is 2,
Yeah.
and more than 2 is more than 2. Okay.
Why?
Tacos
Why?
make me happy.
Whatever. That was an easy question, though.
It was a little one.
I know.
Little or big?
I don't care. Just throw something. It doesn't matter.
Little and long. Oh. Huh. I don't know much about him.
It's a complex.
Should comic books be censored to protect children? I didn't know comic books were vulgar.
Well, I guess it depends on what area you're talking about, because in comic books in the 40s and 50s was harmless.
Well, even honestly, true comic books, not anime, not any of this weird shit people have now.
Right.
But true comic books,
like Batman, Superman,
Spider-Man, all that stuff.
Little Lulu.
I don't know if they're vulgar, really.
Blondie.
I wouldn't consider them inappropriate for kids.
No, not that. That's what I say. It depends. If you're talking about now.
Well, but even now, comic books, not anime. Anime is a whole nother thing. That's what the tits hanging out and the nipples and all the weird, all the Japan stuff that came out. Yeah. But like true comic books, I don't think that they're.
I think they're a little rougher now, a little more violent.
But violent is violent.
Well, it's not appropriate for children.
Why not?
I don't know.
Their mom's beating the hell out of their dad, and their dad's beating the hell out of their mom. Does it really matter if they see it in a comic book?
I don't know. Yeah, but that's not kind of what the question said.
Should comic books be censored to protect children from what, though? Censored in violence or censored in nudity?
Is it nudity in comics?
I don't know. In anime, there is.
It is? Well, I don't know. I don't know that much about comics. I would say if you're going back in time, no. I would say today, possibly.
Yeah, I don't know what comic books are considered now.
I really don't know.
But for us, no. I mean, they were violent, but they weren't.
Yeah, it was a different kind of violence.
Kung Pao. Even still, comic book aren't that.
And even if they kill somebody, they didn't really kill them. They
vanished. Or they showed them laying on the ground. It wasn't the. So I'm going to say no to comic books. Anime.
Yes.
Can go away.
Yes.
Christine says she thinks that comic books today should be censored, but she has kids in the house. Some of the true comic books do have violence in them. Yeah, but what is violence?
Well, it's
like you punched him, you kicked him, you killed him.
Depends. I'm sure some of it's more extreme than that.
I mean, if you cut them open and yanked out their heart and you're eating it, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that for kids. But you can't censor them too much either. Look at the world. So it's that
that's why you should be saying them. Look at the world. Exactly.
Well, but I know, look at the world. You not letting them read that comic book isn't gonna.
Well, maybe if we stop doing that stuff, eventually.
We're never gonna stop doing that stuff.
Maybe if we stop doing that stuff, it would revert back to a more normal.
You will never get rid of it.
Time. Well,
haven't you read the Bible? You're never gonna get rid of it. We're not going in that direction, Dad.
Well, we could always hope.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
I might not be able. I had to see if I could read it. I don't know.
Okay.
Could you survive a day without modern tech, living 1950 style? Absolutely.
Hell yes.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Let's go back and do it.
Give me the chicken. Let me snap the neck and.
I have no problem with that at all.
And put them on. I'll go past the 50s.
If I could throw my computer and my cell phone away today, I'd do it.
You can, Dad.
I know, but
you choose not to.
No, but okay, that's a fair statement.
You could.
You could.
Like me and Keith couldn't.
It wouldn't be feasible.
There's no way me or Keith could because we work.
No, because you work, but I could because I'm retired. But I still use it for my books, so it would make it tough.
It'd make it tough, but you could also limit it to where you only did stuff for your books.
That's true. But
and not yell at people on Twitter.
But it wouldn't be eliminating the technology.
And not yell at people on Twitter.
I never yell at people on Twitter. I have almost 4,000 followers now. They love me.
That listen to you yell at people on Twitter.
They love me.
They love watching you yell at people on Twitter.
I yelled at all the right people. You know,
I'm not going to disagree with you.
Elizabeth Warren.
Don't know who that is.
You don't know who Pocahontas is? Yes, she's
Elizabeth Warren is a ghost hunter lady that I know of.
No, she's a senator.
Oh.
I yell at a lot of the Democrats and some of the Republicans too.
You yell at everybody.
Yeah,
you are an equal opportunity yeller.
I am.
When you will yell at all of them.
When they say something stupid, I'm there. Yes.
But I will raise your 1950s and go to like 1920s.
Wow.
Wooden stove, middle of nowhere. Yeah. Candles.
Nice.
Done.
Fresh milk in the bottle with the cream on top.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Take the chicken in the back, snap his neck, and throw him in the pot. Hell yeah.
I don't know if I could do that, but.
Oh, they're delicious.
I know. I don't like fresh chicken.
Oh, it's so good.
I like frozen chicken.
No, you don't.
I don't like any chicken, to be honest with you.
So good. Yeah. That's why I want to get a bunch of property out in the middle of nowhere, because I would like to live like that again.
Are you going to live without electricity? No. Are you going to live without plumbing? No.
Oh, I got no problem with pissing outside. That doesn't bother me at all.
You're going to go in an outhouse?
Oh, doesn't bother me at all. I pee outside all the time.
You ever smell an outhouse?
Yes, I have.
It's pretty
about
wicked.
The same as a porta potty.
Yeah, it is. It's about the same. You're right.
I would absolutely do it. Pump my water and make my bath. Yep.
Okay. You better tell your husband about that.
No, he would. I'll be living in the back by myself. It's fine. No, he would be okay with. He would have to have power and he would have to have water.
Yeah. But
he'd be okay with everything, like all the technology.
No computer,
gone. Yeah, he'd be fine with no.
I think
no
a lot
computer,
of people.
No
would.
TV. I'd be fine with that.
I think a lot of people.
Put me out in the middle of nowhere with some goats and chickens in my garden. I'll be happy.
I think so. I agree.
Okay. If money was not a concern, what would be one thing you would get or do?
If money was not a concern.
Money was not a concern. You could do whatever you want.
What would be the one thing you would do?
You would get all your books published.
I don't even know if I do that anymore, to be honest with you. That's a good question. There's places I'd like to still see, travel.
Yeah, travel for sure.
Yeah, I mean, historical places, expensive places like, Rome and
the Vatican and
Munich, Germany. And
I'd want to pay the extra money to see if I can bribe people to go down in the Vatican.
There you go. And Egypt.
I mean, money's not a concern. Yeah. I want to go to the pyramids and go through those tubes everybody just found.
All that kind
How many
of stuff.
billions of dollars do you need? That'd be cool. I don't know.
I wouldn't go up in space.
No, I'm good. Thanks. Seeing stuff like that, yes. Would I love to? Like half the stuff Rob does. Do I really want to go to Africa and see a lion? Sure. Do I really need to? Like, is that something
But that's not the question.
But this is the thing is, if it came down to it, somebody gave me
$10 million. Let's say 10 million.
Not even. We're going to go Elon Musk money. 37 billion or whatever this man has.
Okay.
Okay. So literally, like, I don't give a fuck money.
He's got 500 billion, by the way.
Whatever it is, 30, whatever. He made that last year. So like, would I don't know. I think I would honestly just like, I would buy a house in the Caribbean. I'd buy a house on the water. I'd buy a boat because Keith wants a boat. Like
a yacht.
No, he'd get no. See, this is the thing is I don't need the big fancy stuff.
You don't need it, but if you have the money, why would you get it for the comfort?
I don't think I would do it.
Just for the comfort end of it.
Why would I want the comfort of somebody else driving me in a boat? If I'm going to do it, I want to do it myself.
Well, you could drive a yacht yourself. Don't be stopping you.
You're up in a 4-story building. You're inside. You're not really driving a boat. You're sitting in a luxury.
You're safe. Just don't name it the Titanic and you'll be fine. Right?
No, I don't. If I had as much money as I could, I would build a house that had an amazing garage, but like I would work on my cars. I wouldn't pay for somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
but that's your choice. Yeah.
I just wouldn't. Oh, somebody's got a squeaker. Sorry. Like, I don't. My life wouldn't change a terribly lot.
Because you want to still do a lot on your own.
Well, not even that. I'm just not that like fancy pants.
Well,
like, would I get a regular boat or would I get a yacht? No, I'd probably get a regular boat.
I
Like,
bet you don't. But that's
I probably would. Like,
I'm just so.
You know me better than that, Dad.
Not because you want to be fancy.
No, but
and rich, but I think the comfort end of it. I think you choose. You might get another boat just for messing around, but I still think.
I'm not going to be out boating across to Europe or anything.
Yeah, but if you wanted to, you could do it with a yacht.
I could, but like I don't. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a hard one to answer, right there. Yeah. As far as that goes, I think to me the simple word would be travel a lot and see a lot of historical.
Yeah, things. For you definitely. Yeah, seeing all the cool places you've read about.
Well, I've been before, and I want to go back. Yeah, so I don't know, but that would be my answer.
Oh yeah, so that I would probably do. Like I would probably build. So Christine says she would buy a couple houses and give one to a family living on the street. With the understanding if they move, they would have to give the keys back so they can give it to another family. No, I would honestly, so with Christine saying that, so I wanted to, and I actually want to do this whether I get a crap ton of money or not. There's all these like tiny homes that are made out of the like shipping containers and that kind of stuff. So I've been watching a lot on people who have bought an acre or two, or even just a property lot where there's no HOA, where it's just open living, and they'll take that and they'll give it to veterans, or they'll do it for homeless. The problem is you have to have somebody who watches it.
Right.
So if you're going to do something like that, because I would do that all day long, I would.
Well, you could afford to pay people to watch it.
But exactly, you'd have to pay somebody to watch it and actually have them watch it, not be corrupted by whatever's really going on.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff we need. Like, there's so much that we're doing that's about me. Like, that's the crap I would do.
But that's the question was, what would you do? I mean, of course, if I had billions of dollars, not even billions, if I
even a couple million,
I would donate to certain things that I think of important.
Yeah.
St. Jude's.
Yeah.
What's the other one with the kids? I can't.
Daytime commercials. They got them sucked in. What can I say?
I can't think. They do. And, towers to tunnels for veterans. And
I do like the veteran dog one.
Right. That's a good one. There's the wounded warriors.
Yeah, they do the puppy dogs too.
Yeah. There's so I would definitely do that kind of stuff too. But
again, this is my thing is I would rather do that stuff. Because like for me, like I said, traveling's great. Do I really need to go see the pyramids?
No, you don't.
Is it going to change the way I look at my life?
No, but
probably not.
But your age is different than mine, so your reasoning would be different.
Yeah,
you could say at your age, I could hold that off for another 10 years.
I wouldn't. I don't even think I'd go in 10 years.
Well, you could if you wanted to.
No, if I wanted to, I could go now. But like, I just, it's not.
My point would be with me, it's now or never. So I'd have to say,
absolutely. Do as much as you can.
Yeah.
I just never like. I mean, travel's on my list, but it's not. If I had the decision to do something else, I'd probably do something else. Yeah. So,
all right.
It's just that
we still got more in there.
There's a bunch more in here, but it's 8:00, Dad. What do you think? One more?
Yeah, one more.
Little or big?
Whatever you want. Go for it.
That one.
If it's a good question. Good question.
This, I want to see what Dad's going to say about this
boy.
one. Was Reagan a cowboy savior or a slick salesman?
I'm more interested in who asked that question.
And I don't know enough to know.
A cowboy, what is it again?
A cowboy savior or a slick salesman? I'm going to say this is from Christine.
That's a tough one because I think his heart was in the right place, but he also was a great salesman. I'm going to say both. Yeah, I'm kind of saying the same thing because he was a great salesman. He
was a speaker.
He could sell you anything. But I also
just like Obama, like you said,
but his heart was in the right place.
Yeah.
Reagan.
He had good intentions behind it.
He loved this country he loved this country like Trump loves this country.
Absolutely. He saw what the potential was and he saw what was happening.
Yeah. And so I would say both.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I use the word slick salesman as just as a good salesman.
Yeah.
I don't like the word slick because that means it's underhanded.
Slick makes you feel, like you were shady.
I would say he was more of a good salesman and certainly a cowboy.
A good speaker.
Right.
Cowboy savior and a good speaker. I'll go with that.
Yep. I agree with you. One more.
This little baby one.
All right.
Because the last baby one was good.
Maybe.
Okay, I don't know what that word is. And Dad doesn't have one, so he doesn't know. Okay. Would you let your daughter date a beatnik?
I know what a beatnik is.
I don't know what a beatnik is. What's a beatnik?
It's like a hippie. Like back in the 50s and 60s.
Oh, that was my father.
Like
yes.
they did poems and music and stuff like that. They sang.
That was not my father.
They sang in these little coffee shops and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a beatnik. Oh, yeah.
So no.
Pull another one out.
The answer is no. Because he doesn't sound like he's got a lot of balls. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one to land on. Okay. Do you believe people can be cursed?
That's Christine.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
For sure.
But
cursed is in like Louisiana voodoo cursed?
I think that's what she means.
Or cursed is in like bad luck, step in a puddle.
Well, curse is bad luck.
Yeah, of course it was. Here you go. That was Christine. Yuppers.
Yep.
Yeah, we knew that was you. Louisiana voodoo back all day long.
Very
you
real.
Don't mess with those people. You let them be.
Yeah, they're very real.
Oh, they get crazy back there. But curse just is in like bad luck. No, I think it's the way you look at it.
I think you make your own luck. Sometimes you make mistakes and it becomes bad luck. But yeah. I think we all make our own luck.
Like, yeah, it's your own choice. You've made choices to get.
I mean, if you win a game like in a professional sport, and they say, "Oh, that team was lucky to win." I mean, what does that mean? I mean, they outplayed the other team that day.
Exactly.
They were supposed to win.
Exactly.
Has nothing to do with luck.
No.
But if you're saying voodoo curse, or to me, I'm very big on evil eye.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why. I was dating a girl when I was in the service, and I was engaged to her. She was an Italian girl, very sweet girl. And she had a grandmother on the father's side that was very old-fashioned Italian from the old country. And I think she was from Naples. I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not sure, but somewhere in that area. And she believed in the evil eye. And she kind of like told me that, do right by my granddaughter or I'll give you the evil eye.
Yeah.
And I am always convinced, because we broke up, that she always gave me the evil eye.
Really? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, what does that mean, though? Like,
it means bad luck for you, I guess.
Well, I know, but is that just when you're with that person forever? Like, is there a time limit on it?
Until they wipe the evil off you.
Oh, okay.
The evil eye.
So if they wipe the evil eye on you and you get thrown in the corner and they forget about you for the next 60 years, you're doomed.
You're okay.
Awesome.
I don't know, but that's the. But I think, like you said, the voodoo part, I would not mess with.
Stuff I don't mess with.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff on that. Yeah. So Christine says, do you believe in an ancestral curse?
That's an interesting one. I think so.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
How, elaborate? How so?
Well, in other words,
grandparents cursing.
Let's say 3 generations ago.
Like the Capulets and the Montagues. I mean,
or the Hatfields and McCoys.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that some of that can transfer from generation to generation. Not necessarily all bad things. Could be good things too. For people that inherit money from other generations that do good with it rather than bad with it.
Okay. So if your grandparents made it on slavery and you made, whatever.
Well, if they gave you money from them being slavers and you did it for the right reasons, you've just switched things around. You go from bad karma to good
ancestral
karma. Right.
Okay.
So I do believe in that. I think that can happen.
I can follow that.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I think, and there's so many, again, you get into these beliefs and everything that's around. I think there's a lot of interesting things.
Mhm.
Stuff we don't know, stuff we can't understand.
Right. There's a lot of that.
There is.
There's a lot of it. And
So,
you know, but I always go back, not to get religious because we're signing off soon here, but you know, there's a lot of history in the Bible too.
mhm.
Whether you read the Old Testament or the New Testament.
Oh,
but
yeah.
mostly the Old Testament when it comes to history.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot we can learn about human nature, about morality,
Yep.
about all the things that we experience even to this day
Mhm.
by reading the Bible. I'm
Yep.
not saying you have to be a
Well,
holy,
and
holy
not
Joe
even,
or
and
anything
not
like
even
that.
believe in, so like reading the Bible and not even whether you believe in Jesus or not.
Right,
like
right,
just reading the Bible to learn as another historical document.
right. It's got a
What
lot in
happened, what people did, how they lived,
there. Absolutely.
how they treated each other. Huge.
Yeah, it is huge. It's a great book of learning. Whether, like you say, whether you believe in God and not Jesus, or you believe in God and Jesus, it's still a good learning tool.
It's a good,
because it talks about the good and the
Mhm.
bad, the evil things that happen, the good things that happen.
one. Then if you're any sort of historian, you're looking at all of these,
Yeah.
Noah's Ark, you're
Yeah.
looking at the grave, like there's so many other things they talk about in that.
And in the New Testament, a lot of it is traceable to.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Not
Which
so
is
much
even-
not so much in the Old Testament.
But it says so in the Old Testament.
Yes, it
you will
does.
never find the Garden of Eden.
Right,
You will never
right,
find,
right.
the Ten Commandments. You will
The
never
tree of
find
wisdom
these
or
things.
whatever was that, the tree
Yeah.
of knowledge. Or
You'll
whatever it is.
never
Right,
find it. It
Right.
tells you that in there that
Right.
these are hidden.
right.
So it cracks me up when you have these people who are like, I found it.
Yeah.
And then guess what? They're gone
they didn't,
and nothing happened.
Right.
And
But with the New Testament, there is a lot you can trace back.
Mhm.
So
absolutely,
So,
which is,
interesting.
again, whether you believe in it or not, that's just cool to be able to trace that history.
Yeah. I mean, even if
To
you
be
don't,
able to walk that path.
even
to
if
be
you
able to
don't
see
believe in
that.
Jesus as Christ,
Yeah.
he was still a man.
He was still a man.
And
He still got crucified.
He was a teacher.
Yeah.
He did a lot. So you can follow that all back. It's
and
really
that's
interesting.
just cool that we have that from that long ago.
Yep.
That you can
It is.
see it.
Yeah.
And that's what's
It's
really
cool.
cool. Okay.
All right.
On that note,
I think we're done, right?
there's like 8 questions left, but we can leave that for another day.
Okay.
Or should I read through them and see which ones are good?
Just do one more.
Let me read through them.
Just do one more.
We'll do them. We're gonna do them fast. You ready?
Go ahead.
Oh, was James Dean a rebel without a cause or a symbol of something deeper?
Wow, that's a good question.
Okay, we're gonna save that one. That's a good question.
That's a good question.
Is the U.S. That's a good question too.
I put it away.
When the U.S. is involved in a war, does it help or hinder our economy? We're gonna put that one away.
Well, we know what that does.
Both. Okay. Oh, conspiracy theory. Oh my God. Did the Olympics sink instead of the Titanic on April 14th, 1912? We're gonna leave that one. That's a good one too. My God, we didn't get to these. Oh. What do you always have for Easter dinner that has been made for generations? I know for Thanksgiving,
Turkey.
I have my lime thing that I make.
Jello, right?
But for Easter?
Oh, you mean other than the main meal?
What do you always have for Easter dinner that has been made for generations? Like, do you have your own specific?
Yeah.
Not really. We're pretty traditional.
Yeah, I think we're traditional too.
Ham, potatoes, nothing individualized.
No, what the string beans? What is that? The string
bean casserole? That's not individualized, though. Everybody does that.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
I don't know.
Nothing really. Okay. Did Marilyn Monroe redefine beauty or reinforce the stereotype?
Reinforce the stereotype.
That's what I would say too. I don't think she redefined anything. I think she was exactly what they wanted her to be.
Yep.
Okay.
And she went through hell. That's a shame.
Oh, she chose. Yeah.
It was not good.
Ooh. Did television ruin the art of conversation?
No, cell phones did.
Exactly. I was going to say television didn't do that. Cell phones did.
When I grew up with TV, and
I grew up with TV too.
We know how to communicate.
We still talk to each other.
My
but
kids grew up
phones,
with TV, and they know how to communicate.
Cell phones is what did it.
Yep.
The last 10 years, nobody knows how to talk to. Nobody knows how to have patience.
No, they don't. Your
kids start screaming. You hand him a phone. I'm like, let him fucking scream.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll figure it out when he gets tired and his voice hurts.
Yeah, everything is instant gratification today.
Because parents don't want to deal with it. I can't handle this. I'm too triggered. I'm too whatever.
Right.
Then you shouldn't have popped him out of your vajayjay. Okay. You shouldn't have done it. Okay.
Okay. We're done?
Yeah, we'll save those 3 because those are real conversations.
Okay. Yeah, they are good. They're good.
I was like, dang, those are good ones. We got to save those ones. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining us in our random scenes from a hat, is what I call it. Keith laughs. I don't know if that's.
They were good questions.
Yeah. They were really good. Some of them lighter, some of them interesting.
Yeah. Some heavy. Right.
Yeah. Only a couple rabbit holes.
Right.
So, oh crap. All right. Sorry. I got to learn how to work this. Okay. On that note, we will see you next week. Truth About Beer on Tuesday. Don't know what they're doing. We've got the Y-Cast on Wednesday. And us again next week with Drunk with Facts. And I don't know what we're doing either. I'm not in charge of that. I'm not the producer.
There you go.
So we'll have to ask the producer when he gets back. But he is off making a movie.
Yeah, they are making a movie. Yes.
So me and Dad are here by ourselves. This is what happens when they make a movie.
That's right.
So we will see you guys later. Have a good night.
Take care, everybody.
Everybody says bye.
Bye-bye.
Talk to you later.